Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Iconic Repaints. Back with a new video, but taking a break from the repaint video, catching up on a figure review, trying to keep somewhat of a balance, as all things should be. And this is going to be the X Plus 30 centimeters Anguirus 1968 video from the movie Destroy All Monsters, which is a cult classic and was pretty much the Toho version of Avengers Endgame before Avengers Endgame was ever a thing. Anguirus is an interesting character because it was Godzilla's first enemy back in 1955 in the second black and white movie. But he was killed by Godzilla in that movie, and then he'll come back 13 years later in this movie, destroy all monsters as an ally, and he'll help the other Earth monsters fight off King Ghidorah in what is basically just a gangbang, really. I mean, poor King Ghidorah, God rest his soul, had no idea what he was walking into. But he just got jumped. That's really what it was. It wasn't even a fight. He just straight up got jumped by like 12 or 13 monsters. And I say it's basically the Toho version of Avengers Endgame, because just like how Iron Man and Captain America, Thor, they all had their respective solo movies before jumping into the Avengers movie, it's the same deal here. Godzilla obviously had his own movie. Baragon came from Frankenstein Conquers the World. Rodan had his movie. Mothra had her movie. Varan had his movie, even though his role is very minimal. Manda came from a different movie, so on and so forth. So most of them kind of had their own little solo outings first. Anguirus is, just unique in the sense that aside from being Godzilla's first enemy, to me, I kind of have a soft spot for him because he was in the first Godzilla movie that I ever saw, which was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, circa 1974. And I watched it, and I didn't really know jack shit yet about Godzilla movies. I was a kid, and I just randomly jumped into like the middle of the freaking series. So just trying to pick along things up as I could, and obviously it's Anguirus was in it, but he got his ass reamed by Mechagodzilla, who was pretending to be Godzilla. He was in disguise. So everybody, the human characters were confused. I was confused. Everybody was confused. But Anguirus is he's like I said, he has no powers. He bites a lot. He rolls around, and he's tough. Like, he always gets his ass kicked. You know, I mean, even in Destroy All Monsters, when everyone else is kicking King Ghidorah's ass, who's the one monster that managed to get his ass kicked for a little bit? Anguirus. You go to Godzilla vs. Gigan. I mean, that guy just got it. He just got beat up for about 45 minutes. That's really it. And then like I said, Mechagodzilla smashed him. So, yeah, I mean, he's not really. He's sympathetic. You just gotta root for him. He's a ticking time bomb. But the figure here is actually, I mean, it's really what's typical of X Plus, but it's really accurate. It's a really nice sculpt. It almost resembles Anguirus 100%, and he's the paint on him is it's nice. I think if I wanted to nitpick on it, though, I would say that it's a little too clean and neat. Like, you look at the Anguirus suit in the movies, even in the film that this figure is based on, and there's a little more variation in the color, I feel like. I mean, there's definitely, instead of all just one brown color, he definitely in some areas looks more really dark gray with brown spots or brush, just patterns, like a dry brush. I think a little bit of a variation in paint job would have kind of helped make him look a little more realistic. And if I'm also being nitpicky, it's he has his one seam kind of right around his neck. I wish he didn't have that. I don't really think it's really necessary for him to have it. I know obviously in the factory, I guess it was just easier for him to produce the figures that way. But those are my two very slight nitpicks. Otherwise, I think this guy pretty much he looks like he walks right off the screen. And I just told a lie. I do have one more nitpick, and it's the fact that like his feet aren't really flat on the ground. His front feet, they just look like the ones like unnaturally. He's like walking on the side of his foot or his claw or paw or whatever it is. But Otherwise, he is really cool looking, and he's an iconic character. He's a monster that showed up in the series numerous times. Anybody who's got a soft spot for the 60s and 70s era good superhero-ish Godzilla is probably an Anguirus fan, because he's pretty much a staple in a lot of those movies. And he's kind of like, you gotta like him, because he's kind of like that. If you ever had a friend that, maybe you were like growing up as a kid, or in school, middle school, high school, whatever, and you never got into fights yourself. You never started fights, but you had a good friend that always got himself into fights, and then therefore you had fights. That's kind of like this dude's deal. Like, no one ever has a beef with Anguirus. He either is with Godzilla and then shit goes down, or somebody who has a beef with Godzilla finds this guy first, this unlucky bastard, and just kicks his ass, and now he runs off to Godzilla, and now Godzilla has to go handle business. So that's pretty much why it's easy to love Anguirus. He's kind of, it's like a puppy that just doesn't know when he's just bit off more than he could chew. But for people like me who just find all this stuff really nostalgic, who grew up with it, I think he's a must. I think X Plus did a great job in replicating him in vinyl form. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to try to, I guess, do a couple more of these figure review videos. I don't have that many of the X Plus figures left. I used to have a ton of them, but I've sold many of them along the way. And one day I think I'm going to do a video of all the ones that I used to have, and just do like a little summation of all of them, at my thoughts and collective ideas on them at the time. Just kind of rolled it off in one little video. But Anguirus definitely deserves a video. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you want more like this. Otherwise, I hope you had a great Saturday. Continue to have a good weekend. Everybody be safe. Peace.